Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for School Live Letters, Chapter 4. When we last left our heroes, we focused on Miki, who had returned to the mall where she last saw Kay, as she's dealing with the fact that she is kind of losing her memories of Kay, just like naturally as time passes. And so she had gone to try to see if she could find the CD player that Kay always kept with her as a last memento of Kay. And while she did not find it in the mall, she had a very, very heart-wrenching emotional journey with like a ghost of Kay, the Kay of her memories, so to speak. And she left, not having found anything, but she did find Toko in her RV, who revealed that Aozoi, way back when, had heard that Kay had made it to a radio station before she got infected, and had sent out this message to anyone who would listen to go find Kay. While cleaning Aozoi's old room, the Depravity Society found Aozoi's notebook, they found the information, they found the CD player, and they knew enough about Miki's backstory to know that Kay was looking for Miki. And so Miki was able to hear Kay's song one final time. It was just really good and really heart-wrenching and just a fantastic fucking chapter. But now let's go do something completely different in Chapter 4. We have our scan later page. And we open with some busted up storefront, a busted up like skyscraper, I mean, and some zombies wandering the streets, and the Depravity Society with the Depravity Society's drone, I mean, that's leading the zombies away, while the actual members of the Depravity Society, or at least Toko, Aya, and Hika, I think were their names, Rise, the other member is not with them in this panel. It's just the three of them. But they kind of sneak past the zombie while the drone leads them away, and Toko tells the group, "Alright, with this, the Degenerate Society's plan to restore humanity Phase 1 is go." Okay. That's kind of interesting. First thing, their name is slightly changed again. It was originally Fallen Crew, which the wiki still has them as Fallen Crew, I learned recently. Then the end of the original manga changed it to Degenerate Society. Now it's Degenerate Society. Either way, same basic concept. The real interesting thing here, though, is the plan to restore humanity. Because we already know that Yuri is working with a, like, pseudo-government to actually restore society. Whereas Toko, Aki, and Hika are just kind of, I don't know what we don't really know what their goal is, but, like, there already is a plan to work to restore society. Anyway, plan to restore humanity Phase 1 is go. Chapter 4, Degenerate Society. We have our picture of the main four of the Degenerate Society. No Sino is here, though I thought she had kind of become a member in the aftermath of the university arc. But we just see the four of them standing together. Is it time to put aside childish things? Well, we'll see. Anyway, Toko kind of flashes back to her conversation with the School Life Club via drone, and I think it was chapter 70 of the main series. Good luck. You're humanity's last hope. That's what I told them back then. They're incredible. They actually saved the world. That's why this time it's our turn. And the three of them make it into what looks like a bookstore. We see like a rook chess piece on a sign. What looks like books. Or a board game of some kind called War Map, maybe? Maybe it's like Risk or something. But Toko looks at it. This kind of creepy, like no face at all. We see something that seems to rise up from the board game box, and then she lifts it over her head. I'll show you the true Degen power. And Aki just looks at her. No, not quite. And then we flash back 3 days earlier for some much needed context. And the Degenerate Society is just kind of sitting around their table chatting. Again, I'm not entirely sure where Sino is here. Unless Sino died off screen, which would be really, really sad. I just think Sino, after everything she went through, if I have her name right, Sino. I think she just deserves better in the end. But anyway, we see on today's agenda is just sorting trash. They're really just kind of doing the bare minimum, but they're all working around their table. And then Aki turns to Aki, who seems to be the leader of the group, by the way. I always kind of figured it was Toko. But Aki seems to be the one who's leading things. Toko, are you listening? And Toko kind of like snaps awake. And Aki sighs. And then she erases something on the board as Hika and Toko look at her, and then writes, "Damn it! You've been really out of it lately. What's wrong?" The full phrase just "Damn it, Toko." I love that. And Toko responds, "Well, it's like you all are fine. You're doing good work. Aki, you're so good with people. I knew you'd be playing an active role in helping out. And before I knew it, Hika and Rise, you're both working hard too. So it looks like they are doing something, because we see Aki is like either giving orders or teaching to a whole slew of people. Hika is building something. Rise is doing some like desk work, it looks like. And Toko, we just see is just casually relaxing behind Aki. She does the actual work. I'm an indoors type. I feel like you're all leaving me behind. And Toko looks up wistfully. Things were better before. We should have just stayed cooped up playing games forever. And Aki just snaps. Don't be ridiculous! And Hika turns to her. Toko, why not try playing to your strengths? And Aki asks, what was your major again? Information science. And Aki just, pityingly, oh, with the internet gone, that's rough. That's where you're wrong. And Toko, like, snaps to attention. Uses for information science. Even with the internet gone, there's tons you can do with it. Track temperature data to predict the weather, easily sort documents, manage agricultural methods, fairly apportion food and medicine. And Aki's responds, then do that. I can't. Huh? Why? I skipped class. All I did was play games. Toko! I mean, sure at the time she did not realize she'd be one of the few survivors of a zombie apocalypse. But she really did just kind of fuck up there. And Rise and Hika are silent as Aki just responds, oh. Of course, and Rise laughs, this is the Degenerate Society. And you're the greatest degenerate. And I just straight up like arrow through Toko. I got a package from Sumiko-san. She has a task for you. Who is Sumiko? Because I don't recognize the name there. Okay, so on the wiki real fast. I kept the wiki open so I would remember all of their names. She was friends with a group before her disappearance, but she's clearly not disappeared here. I don't know. I don't know where she was, but apparently they found her again. Honestly, my memory of the university arc is not great, given that I've not read it since 2017, I think. I remember some of the broad strokes, but a lot of the details are kind of lost to time. Anyway, I got a package from Sumiko-kun. She has a task for you. A task? For me? And Toko is handed a notebook with the text, The Case of a Pitch-Black Young Woman Reborn. It's a novel. Sumiko-kun is reborn and quickly rises up in the world due to her knowledge of modern-day science. It's a thrilling story reminiscent of a 19th century tall tale. So Sumiko is writing isekai? I mean, okay. And what's she asking me? To make it into a game. She said Toko knows all about games. And Aki just kind of grins. Sumiko really has no clue about that kind of stuff. Entertainment is important, but this might really be difficult. And Toko thinks, well, wait, I've got an idea! I mean, there's like a light shine by her as Aki is just, huh? And then we see Toko starts to take charge of a meeting, seemingly, so this is back in the present, because we see they have the board game that Toko picked up. So this is your plan to restore humanity? And Aki looks at it. How do you play this? Is it like backgammon? Good question. Travel to a different world, become a different person, create an avatar, and spin a tale together. This is a tabletop role-playing game. Oh, so it's like D&D, I guess. I'm slightly, vaguely, very vaguely familiar with how D&D works. But, like, I don't think it's a board... I don't think it would come in a board game box. What is? I don't know. I honestly don't know that much. Anyway, this is a game where you become adventurers in a world of fantasy. This is a knight. She moves one piece. This one's a fighter. There's also a priest, an alchemist, and others. And we see Hika holds one and looks at it. What kind of adventure? Whatever you like. You can fight monsters, perform heroic deeds, or search for ancient grimoires. We see this kind of, model in her head of how a tabletop RPG works. Everyone discusses things with a game master, who's a kind of moderator, and you work together to create a story of what you want to do. And Aki responds, oh? And Rise just responds, a legendary grimoire? Sounds good. And Aki replies, sounds fun, but how is this a plan to restore humanity? And Hika just kind of mutters, I think games are important, but indeed... It'd be a lie to say recreation alone will restore humanity. Well, duh. In this new age, there's no internet and hardly any computers. But the need for mathematics and statistics hasn't changed. Did you know? Humanity designed and planned the Eiffel Tower with just paper and pencil. And Aki's kind of shocked at that. They calculated that by hand? Whoa, sounds rough. That right there. Don't you think there should be a game that makes writing and doing math by hand fun? Okay, I kind of see where she's going with this. It's very much a phase 1 plan, but, get people interested in math and writing and storytelling, but even more than just that. The kind of skills you need to rebuild a world through fun methods, and then they can use that into more mundane, necessary ones. I see what her plan is. It's a very degenerate plan. That's what this tabletop RPG is. You can journey to another world with just pencil, paper, and dice. Rise responds, I see. That's a wonderful idea. If children in this new era can learn to calculate that way, then the dream of reviving science and technology could become reality. And Hika looks at it, maybe we could show this to Yuki. She is a teacher. Speaking of, where has Yuki been all series? I want the Yuki chapter. And, in the back of my mind, I know the Yuki chapter will end the series, almost certainly. But I still want to see how my girl is doing, okay? Exactly. And so, Toko grabs it. First off, let's play! And Aki looks at her with disdain. So that's what this is really about. Playing games is what I'm good at. You've got to make the best of what we've got. And we see the blackboard now says, Round 1, plan to restore humanity. Cheeky. I don't know what that means. But we see, Rise, pouring over the rules as she fills out her character sheet. We see the game board set up. All 4 of them just kind of... working at the game together. Wait! If I can't finish him off with this hit, won't I die? This is Aki, who's fighting some orc monster, it looks like. I have to deal 20 damage, so my expected damage is too short. Someone help me out. And then, so Hiko, we saw earlier, was, painting something or writing something on the base of her character piece. And then she finally looks up. Alright, done. You're painting it? Yup. Math, yes, but also skill at crafts is important too. True. And then Toko picks the piece up. As the doomed fighter Aki struggles, the traveling swordswoman Pitch Black Sumiko appears before her. Alright. So yeah, we don't actually, I might very well just be forgetting when Sumiko got, if they found Sumiko or anything about Sumiko. But I had literally zero memory of this character. The wiki says she disappeared, and the wiki isn't always up to date, I know. So maybe I'm missing something. But I genuinely don't remember this character at all. But anyway, we hear the game playing, or hear the game in the background, as we then change to what looks to be a house somewhere, with Sino and her son, and the Rue teddy bear, it looks like. We see the letter she's reading from Toko. The translation, the translator tells us, is at the end. But we see a little bit of it, that's important for this scene. So that's how we're doing. Soon our plan to restore humanity will reach phase 3. Once Renji-kun gets a little older, let's all play together. And we see, I don't think we knew her son's name before, Renji. And Sino turns to Renji. It sounds like humanity will soon be restored. Right, Renji? And we see one final image of the player characters having defeated this orc monster. Gakko Odayori is a bi-monthly release, so it won't be out until issue 4 in February. And so we have some translator notes, specifically the first one is the panel of Aki freaking out over not being able to kill the monster. This is why you always take the lucky feat, also take Misty Step if at all possible, or put a couple of points into rogues you can disengage and dash to leave everyone else behind. I guess there's some advice for any RPG players in the audience. We do get the letter, though. An ancient mole civilization finally resurfaced, but the party didn't give in. Aki's knight crit 3 times for double damage, Hika's priest used divine intervention to call on her god, and Risei's alchemist let loose an incredible explosion. So that's how we're doing. Soon our plan to restore humanity will reach phase 3. Once Renji-kun gets a little older, let's all play together, Toko. Okay. So, this is just a really cute, fun chapter. It's not the emotional high of Miki's chapter last time. But it's nice to kind of spend time with the Degenerate Society again. Given, they kind of dropped off the face of the series as soon as I caught up to it. So it's just been a really long time since we've seen them. Beyond a little bit of, the drone scene in chapter 70, and Risei, and Miki going over the events of the finale in the final chapter. So it's just kind of nice to see them all. And we see that Sino is alive, is seemingly alone. Because the baby's father was one of the melee fight crew, and they all died, as I recall. So, is she raising this child on her own? I don't know. I'm kind of curious of the setup here. I don't know why she would leave Isidore. That just seems to be the best place for, given that there is no society to get supplies or something. She can't, work to make money. The only way she's gonna be able to get food is to go out on her own and risk infection, and if she's infected, she leaves her son to die. Which is not great. I don't know. Sino's situation is a little weird. Maybe, we know there's at least 2 more chapters, right? That's the subreddit says has a release date for 5 and 6. And I'm thinking of other characters we could have besides Yuki, as the focus of a chapter. And maybe it'll be Sino and Renji, and we'll get a little more into their living arrangements. How exactly, what exactly they're doing now. Given I don't think there are really any living characters we haven't covered besides Yuki at this point. But yeah, this chapter is really just kind of light fun. There still is, I very well could just be forgetting something really important about Sumiko, given that I don't remember anything about her. But apparently she was found at some point. And is now writing isekai for the zombie age. And then, yeah, that all leads to restoring the world through D&D. Which is it's a very Toko concept. And it leads to a really fun chapter. So yeah, it was a good time. It was not, like I said, it was not the high mark of chapter 3, but it was still really fun. So yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!